All right, everybody, welcome to another fireside chat. I am excited to have everybody here to have a great guest on to share some great expertise. A lot about, we're going to be hitting on talking about AI. AI is a hot topic. A lot of people are looking to integrate it, but AI has things where you're looking to not only to integrate it and to leverage it, but also to personalize it. And a lot of times it's that balance of whenever it's a machine, if you're not careful, it sounds like a machine when you're interacting with it, but you can add those personal touches. And so definitely looking forward to a great fireside chat where we can go through that. Now, before we dive into that and before I turn it over to the guest of honor, Samir, just as a couple quick reminders to people that are on the fireside chat, there are a couple ways to join. One, you can either join directly via the LinkedIn Live, and if so, if you have any questions along the way, you can go ahead and just throw that in the chat. You can throw that in the comment section of the for this fireside, and we'll make sure to be monitoring that so that we can get your questions answered. The second thing is I just threw in the comment section as well on the Zoom meeting. So if you want to do something live, you want to ask a question either during it or you want to ask it afterwards, you want to do it via video and more of a face-to-face, if you just click on that Zoom meeting link, join there, that allows you to ask your questions that way either. So you can definitely ask questions either way, either via the LinkedIn chat or join the Zoom meeting and ask it live there. But otherwise, looking forward to a great conversation. So just as a quick reminder to everybody, this is a weekly series. So each week we're having different experts on that's really geared towards helping startups and small businesses to figure out or to learn different aspects of things that they will likely need to know along their journey. We'll have different experts on. Usually it's not me. Occasionally I'll share something that's within my realm of expertise, but I love hearing from the experts that are already out there and making sure that we can hit on as many topics with that. So with that as a real quick introduction, Samir is going to come on. He's going to share about how you can personalize your AI, how you can make it better, improve it, personalize it, and a lot of those aspects. So definitely looking forward to it. I love AI from the sense that I think it can leverage a lot of things. We utilize it a ton with my law firm, some of the other businesses, but I'm excited to learn how we can go about personalizing it. So that much is a short and brief introduction. Welcome on to the fireside chat, Samir.
Thank you so much, Devin. Thank you so much for doing this and inviting me on. I'm looking forward to the conversation. Nice to meet all of you people who are joining us live. Excited to share whatever little or more I know about AI and the world that is changing around AI.
Absolutely. So why don't we go ahead and just dive in if we can. So I'll turn the mic over to you, so to speak. Go ahead and jump into a bit of your presentation, as I always try and do live presentations. What you'll plan on presenting, but if people have questions along the way, or if I have questions along the way, I always encourage people to jump in, ask those. You don't have to save them till the end. You're welcome to save them to the end. But if you want to kind of dive into a bit of presenting, letting us know a little bit about how you can go about personalizing AI, Mike is yours.
Sure, thank you so much. So let me tell you a little bit more about the AI first, right? What AI is, right? I think anything that makes our life a little bit more automated and a little bit more easy is come under the realm of AI, right? And how it comes under the realm of AI if we are using some kind of mathematical algorithm and some kind of data, right? Last year we saw the rise of Chat GPT, Mid Journey, and a lot of wonderful tools where you can just prompt it out and it will give you some response, right? That people were calling it the biggest user experience revolution of the world, right? And why? Because you don't need to have any kind of information to run a prompt. You can write it in your natural language and it gives you the answer, right? It's same as the smartphone, right? Remember the time when we saw the first iPhone, right? The iPhone one, when we thought like, okay, our whole telephone system can be, or our satellite phones doesn't have to be that heavy. It can be a single lightweight device, right? That was the first technology revolution, which changed how the way the communication work, right? But now you don't need 20 people to run an organization or run a marketing or sales, right? You can do it with a combination of Chat GPT and two, three more tools, right? And And what it does, it basically opens a new realm of how people will be looked in the future, right? Uh, right now, earlier we used to hire specialists, right? But now we need generalists because people who can work with the tools. Now, there has been a lot of debate around AI security, right? And I'm pretty sure we all have watched the movie where AI takes over the world and humans are the slave of the machine, right? Uh, any Terminator movie, take it and you'll understand what I'm talking about, right? But the fun thing is, can AI do that in future? We don't know because it will require that hardware to reach at that point where we can add AI to it and where AI is sentient, that it is started thinking, has its own brain, right? So it's a deep down, long road to the tunnel, right? But what we are seeing today, as of today, what we are seeing is there are countries who are developing their own models, right? And when I say model, I mean there is a general model and you add your data to it. And when you add data to a general model, you need one more thing, which we call intelligence, right? You need to add what is the definition of data, right? I might be writing a cookbook and I added all the data about vegetable, oil, and my proteins to a model, right? But model won't understand whether I want to write a cookbook or I want to do anything else. It for model, chicken can be used as an animal, can be used as a protein, and can be used as an image, right? Model won't understand what I want to do. So basically, what do? You add a layer of personalization to it, which is basically you define what that data is, and you define the definition of the prompting. Where basically, if I write create the best chicken dish, it is not going to show me a plate with chicken image pasted on it. It will go and write down the recipe of how I can create the best chicken dish that is available. You need to add definitions to your AI model so that it can understand that what you are asking. All the current models, they have been learned on a lot of data sources, right? And when I say lot, I mean like trillions of parameters. And to you need to extract just a subsection of parameter. And to do so, you need to enrich your data with as much as information you can give. Earlier, there was this thing when people used to say that the more you have the data, the better you'll have the result. But it's not true nowadays because internet has all the data, and if we scour the internet, we get all the data, right? The current scenario which is there in the world is the more information you give to the data, the better your results will be. uh, we all are user of Instagram and TikTok and whatnot, any platform that does give you a scroll to view a video, right? And then you might think yourself that why I was watching a dance video and then every other video is a dance video. And it get personalized to such an extent that if you're watching a dance video of particular region, it starts showing you just that region. Or if you're just following a social media influencer and you just watch their video to entire length and you watch continuously 3 or 4 video of entire length, then every third scroll is that social media influencer. Now this is AI, right? Now just think on it, like how this AI is going to change our life. Think about that. You want to buy the shoes, right? You want to buy Air Force Jordans, right? And you just thought about Air Force Jordan and you just typed it on Google, Air Force Jordan, just to see the cost of Air Force Jordan. Now, every video that you're watching is showing you some or other form of Air Force Jordan, right? Some or other form where it is associated with Air Force Jordan. Now, what it does, it basically starts getting an idea in your brain that you have to uh, relate more to those shoes, right? That you wanted to buy. Every Google page, every Facebook page, wherever you go, you now you can see that those shoes everywhere, right? And the second piece of AI, it won't just show you that shoe, it will show you the other shoes also, which might be in your price range, because AI is learning on how you behave. Now, few people might think that is intrusion of privacy. It should not be happening. It should not be done. But let me change the case and let me put a 60-year-old who just want to buy the best insurance policy that is possible. Now, if an AI system can show them that you don't have to buy a $200 monthly premium one, but there is $20 monthly premium available on their Instagram scroll or the Facebook scroll. What it does, it basically helps them out to narrow their choices down to the two or three which suits better with their personality, with better with their budget, better with their like whatever they are looking for, right? So application of AI is endless, but right now the biggest application of AI is in the user experience, how you buy, how you sell, how you get a product, right? And I think after COVID, this thing has changed much more drastically. If we were doing this podcast before COVID, actually we might not have been doing this podcast, and if we would have been doing it, we might have been doing it like a radio podcast or an in-person podcast, and we might post it to a news channel where it will be relayed on a prime time and people will see is there, right? But what does after COVID era? Now you can all watch it through the LinkedIn live, and you might be sitting at different places of the world. You don't have to worry about timing. You'll get the recording. We are recording it in the live time, and this video is going to be there forever.
Let me just interject with the one question, because I think that was definitely a great walkthrough. And I think that you'd hit on, our AI is using a lot of different learning models, right? So it was going to go out and, I know I'm simplifying it, but it'll scrape the internet, so to speak, or it will take a lot of here's a lot of different examples that are input or generated to that. And on the one hand, that, idea is that the more information you give it, the more personalized it will be. Now, is there almost a flip side to that, which is if I use a whole bunch of data from a lot of different sources, it doesn't have that personalized feel because it's using a whole bunch of different people's voices? Is there a way that for businesses they can work to tailor it so that it is more specific to their business and has more of that voice or that kind of feel that it's, hey, this is something that's customized to our business as opposed to something that's more generic, trained off of a lot of different models? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. And a great question. This is something which I get daily, that some or other business will come and how we can do that. So I'll just give you one example on customer experience, right? Which is basically yeah, or services, right? Basically, you want to know that I want to come at Miller IP law, and what's the pricing of let's say attorney counseling, right? That's what I want to know. There are two ways to do it. Either I'll call you up or I'll go to your website and or a chat link where I'll just type it that I want to know Miller IP laws attorney counseling price. Now, the price will not come from the internet. What comes from the internet is when you type what is the pricing of Miller IP law, it just goes to the internet and search what do you mean by what is pricing. It doesn't search what Miller IP law. So when you give that model, the big model that is out there, you give your data and the definition that when somebody comes and say pricing, they mean they want to know the cost of service. Or when they come to your industrial website and they want to know what does that socket cost, right? Now, internet knows what socket is, but it is not using that definition. The definition of socket is provided by you, the data is provided by you. And that's what I meant. Like it is learned on a huge set of data set. You need to just strip out what information you want to use for what kind of services you want to use and give your data and your definition. And then it becomes a personalized AI for your business or your company.
So now just, and I'm sure if you're deep into AI, you can do that. Walk us through what is that kind of that socket, or how do you connect it so that it is, I would say two objectives. If I was a small business, is one is the correct information about my business, right? So as you mentioned, let's say you take the law firm model. I want to make sure when they ask how much is this going to cost to do X, Y, or Z services, that it is our pricing, not just it pulls from a whole bunch of sources from the internet, or it either gives a wrong answer or doesn't give an answer at all. But you have that. The second one is also kind of the tone of voice, right? So I have a way that I speak different than the way that you speak. We have a different our company culture. We have those type of things. And so the second is also training to have kind of that tone of speech or that manner within it which it interacts with people. And so you mentioned kind of the sockets, or you can do that or do that more customized or tailored. How do you set that up with an AI? And I'm sure that there are people know that are deep into it, but if you're more of a novice, how do you even go about looking at that?
Right. So let's say you are a business, right? If you need to make any AI system just for your customer, you need three things. One, the services that you provide and the data related to it. It might be customer service. So let's say it's a customer service, somebody comes to your shop and they say that their car has broken down. And then you do 10 steps are there. That first you will do the XYZ check, and then you will do the oil check, and let's say 10 steps are there. And you might have written it somewhere that people usually call it SOP, right? Standard operating procedures or manuals, right? They have those manuals. And that manual has a tone, right? That whatever you have written, it might be very businessy, it might be very free flowing, right? So with that, AI learns the tone of how you interact with your customer. Now, the second thing is tone. People usually get it from the emails also. The way you write email, right? If you write email and if you label your email that this is personal, this is work, this is business, this is client, this is customer, XYZ thing, right? It can learn on the tone of every different tags, that with client you talk in a certain way, with personal you talk in a certain way. And it will basically start branching out. If you are sending any personal email, this is the tone that it has to use. If you're searching and if you're sending any customer email, this is the tone that it has to use. And it is learning on all the your data that you have. The second thing is, how do you connect it, right? Because most often people don't have a huge IT team. Good news, it doesn't require a huge IT team, because all the big LLM, which we call large language model companies, they have API, what they call API. And you need just an IT guy who has the access of all your data, knows a little bit on how to create a simple connector model, and basically put that data into that AI model and the definitions to that model. And you will have a system ready by which people can basically go on to your services and basically get all the information that they need to. Just on that context, OpenAI has something that they call MyGPT. So even if you're doing it right now, you can just upload your data, upload your definition, and it's all plug and play. So you don't need any IT degree or any engineering degree for it. It's a layman's tool which they have built, where anybody can go upload the data and get they can actually do a POC, right? Proof of concept, that this is how it is going to work for them.
Oh, awesome. So that definitely answers. I didn't mean to interject on what you're presenting, but I think that one definitely sounds like there are options and ways that you can customize it so that it does have that your personalized in per business information, or ways or answers, not necessarily personalized personal information, but personalized information, as well as that tone of voice. So you definitely continue on. That was a definitely insightful and helpful answer.
Yeah. I won't suggest you to put your SSN number into the AI system, because it becomes a little risky. But yeah, anything that is related to generalized customer service and generalized information about your company or a person or certain topics, know-hows, how-tos, right? That everything can be put it into a simple chatbot system where people can interact with it and get all the information, cut down your all the services time and the time that you used to have, because you need to do product demo or you need to do the services demo. You can cut down all those times significantly, up to 80-85%.
Hmm. Well, maybe just one other question that I'd had, and I don't mean to interrupt the presentation, but definitely is an interesting topic. Is, and for certain circumstances, is it, are there avenues, one, and is it make sense that you can have it go, and I'll say scrape, although scrape always has a bad connotation to it, but go and review the individual or the business's social media, because social media is generally out there unless you set it as private, your posts, the way that you talk, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. And can the AI train from that so that it can further kind of get your tone of voice or the way that you interact with people on those more personal levels, and kind of what the content is that you post? Is that a additional way that you can train it? Is that frowned upon or not able to, or kind of any thoughts on that?
Right. So I again, like, you are a lawyer, you'll understand much better than I do, because there are a lot of privacy laws among the companies, right? So, for example, you posted something on Instagram. Instagram is owned by Facebook, right? Facebook has their own data privacy, right? Now, if you'll say that Facebook, can I get that data? Facebook, the first thing that they will say is, oh no, you cannot, because it's against the data privacy law, right? Because they have to share that data with the third party, which is not you, because you haven't built that model. That data will go to some other LLM model, right? LLM model owned company, right? So there are a lot of issues on that. But if your answer is, can we technically do it? Yes, we can do it. But I think there are a lot of legal implications when it comes to what we call open source, what we don't call open source. You make it private, you make it public, but can anybody train it, or can only you train it? So I think there is like a lot of legal debates that's happening around the world. We just saw the case of Wall Street Journal and New York Times on OpenAI, right? Which is their data is available for everyone, right? But can you go and train on that data? That's a very gray area, and I don't know the legal aspects of the thing that the better that I know you do it much better. But I think there is some gray area. But technologically, technology doesn't work on gray area, right? It's black or white. Either you can do it, you cannot do it. So the answer is yes, you can do it. Whether it is allowed or not, that is debatable.
Yeah, and I'll give the general legal answer, which is it depends. But I think that when you look at that, the question often is kind of the sources and the what the platforms allow. So generally, your social media posts are still yours. Now the platform is still owns it outright, but they can't stop you from using the own content you generated within reasonable scope. And so if if it was your own source, your own feed, your own social media platform, and you're using it to train your own or AI, or AI model, or generally they're not going to be able to say you can't use your content for that purpose. Now, I think that it is a area of the law that is still developing, and that it very well could change, and there could be court cases and considerations. I'm sure those are down the road, but it'll be interesting, I think, because I think that people are looking for kind of what the motivation, the genesis for a lot of your presentation is AI is great, but it still needs to come a long way on that personalization and customization area. And now people are trying to figure out how to do that. So it'll be interesting to have it come along. Well, I know I already interjected on a lot of your presentation, asked a lot of my questions, but I think it was definitely helpful and insightful, hopefully both to myself and the audience. But we're already running towards the end of the presentation period. And I do want to open it up for any Q&A. And so just as a quick reminder for people that are, if you do have a question, if you don't have any questions, all you're answered, or you're overwhelmed and you don't even know where to start, by all means, you're welcome to, I'm sure, reach out to Samir one-on-one. But if you do have any questions, then we're going to open it up that you can take basically either you can reach out a couple ways, as I mentioned beforehand. One is that you can, if you have a question, throw it on if you're on the LinkedIn live, throw it in as a comment, and we'll keep an eye on that. And if any comments that come along there, I'll make sure to relay those to Samir. If you did join the Zoom meeting and you're wanting to ask that live, just make sure to unmute and ask it live. And I am of the opinion that speak now or forever hold your peace. And so if you do have a question, we're going to give it about 10-15 seconds on the Q&A. And if nobody asks any questions, then we go on to the next section. And if somebody has a question, we'll spend some time answering that. So I'm going to be quiet. We'll give it a few seconds. If you have any questions, go ahead and post those or ask those, and then we'll continue on. Okay. That's the speak now or forever hold your peace. And I mentioned it, I think, in one of the other ones. I always want to have a time clock ticking, just because it is going to go 10, 9, 8, and then it lets people know. So I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but it's a feature I'm sure I'm going to figure out. This could be coming along. It did look like there was one question that came in, I'm going to say after the 10 seconds, but nonetheless, we're going to read it anyway, which is, so the question it was from Reed Abbott, which is, are you seeing a lot of new work coming from companies from AI technology? What kind of things do they ask for? So I'll turn that over to you, Samir, but that was kind of the question there.
Right. So if I understand correctly, you want to know the requirement of the new work that is coming through the AI company.
I think it was twofold. One was, are you seeing a lot of new work? And if you're seeing a lot of new work, what kind of things are they asking for?
Okay. So yes. So I think a lot of non-traditional tech companies, they are very much interested in leveraging AI into their day-to-day business. And that's where I'm seeing a huge boom. Call it manufacturing, call it all the electric, oil and drilling companies. So I'm seeing a lot of AI being used in their day-to-day life. I saw a huge decline in the work that IT company used to do because uh, as you know, with the AI, you don't need that many engineer and it does your job pretty well. So the requirements that are coming is mostly on the areas that we talked about today, which is customer service. They don't want to send all the, let's say, they have a huge sheet of product and their pricing and the delivery date. They don't want to get on a call and explain them for 30 minutes. Instead of that, they want a simple chatbot system or simple interface where people can just type it in, get the information, and then do the next step. So that's what I have been seeing so far, especially in the retail stores. Um, if you move around the world, right? I'm not just talking about America right now. Like if you look at Europe, they are very much into redefining how the finance works in their company. So they are looking for a better system by which you can validate whom you can give credit, whom you can give loans by knowing their default history and their prediction on default. And yeah, everybody wants to save the time in the today's world, right? So wherever in the non-traditional IT companies, wherever they can save the time, they are coming up and asking for those work.
So now I'm going to follow up, and it wasn't necessarily part of the question, but I had kind of a follow up question to that myself, which was, so now if you're saying that's kind of what you're seeing, is there any, you're always trying to, as a business, and whether you're providing a service or you're the business that is asking for the service, you're trying to figure out where things are headed, or kind of what to anticipate, or what are those next steps. So do you see, do you see anything as far as upcoming needs or areas that may be coming? Maybe they're not, businesses aren't asking for yet, but you're saying, hey, I think in the next 6 to 12 months, this is likely an area that we're going to start seeing. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I see few industries changing dramatically, which is I see the airline industry. They are one of the most technologically advanced and backward at the same time. So there are a few things which they are like very much technologically advanced, and then there are a few things which is way beyond, like you can even compare, right, on technology scale. So that's one of the industry which is coming, because I think the commuting and the way we commute, how we travel, right, that has changed a lot. I think thanks to the Instagram, I guess people are now, everybody wants to be a wanderlust, right? They want to travel here and there and do all those things, right? So I see the travel industry, uh, like after COVID, I have seen like every year on year, I think the growth in that industry has been amazing in terms of services that you can provide. It starts from the food to the face scanning, to the passport scanning, to the immigration, to the travel recommendation, to the places. If you'll go to Expedia, you will understand that they have changed their customer service altogether. You don't have to now pick a phone and wait for like 30 minutes to get to someone to speak to, but you can get all that answer in like 5 seconds, 7 seconds. And that's the second industry which is changing, which is all the customer calling industries, right? Which is, you don't have to call anyone to get to your, even if you want to get refund or want to know about the process, you can do everything with a single mobile system or mobile app system. So these are the two areas which are slow right now, but I think by this year end, these will be the two areas which will change completely. I know a few models which are coming next month that are going to be huge advancement in. Okay, I'll add one more industry, which is animation and the short films, right? If you are not living in the Stone Age, you all must have seen the Sora AI videos, which is prompt generated videos, and those are crazy videos. Like you can open your own studio at the back of your, like from your couch in your home, and you can create whole film, like 30-minute, 40-minute film with dialects, with different voice actor, voiceovers, everything. So I think these are the three things which are going to crazy change how the industry, how we see the traditional industry right now.
Awesome. Well, it'll be fun to see. And I hadn't thought on the airline industry, and one, or hopefully it's not United, or is it United or South, whichever one that seems to be having a lot of issues lately. Hopefully they're the ones that maybe AI will solve all their problems and make it so that they're having less issues with their planes. But definitely it'll be a fun area to watch on, and one to keep an eye on. So I am going to try. No, I'm doing this live, so it could fail horribly. We're going to try the 10-second countdown on any questions. So we'll see if this works, and it may or may not work well, but nope, it looks like, at least on my screen. So we're going to start it. I think I can start it over, but I'm going to start the 10-second countdown. If anybody has any questions, we're going to do it. It's going to go over and over until I stop it, but we're going to start the 10-second countdown. If nobody asks any questions, and we're go on to the next section. So I'm going to start that, or we're going to wait till it gets to 0. Then we're going to go to 10 seconds. If you have questions, ask them. If not, go. Okay, there was our 10-second countdown. I think that I'm going to call that a success. First of all, because I did not fly, and second of all, it worked reasonably well. So now with that, I definitely appreciate the questions, and I'm sure if people have follow-up questions, they can reach out to Samir directly. But within that, the next item in the agenda is going to be I always caveat, I hardly ever read books, but I love books and podcasts. And so the reason I say I don't read the books is usually I'm more of, I like to listen to the audiobooks. And so I have an Audible account. I have hundreds of books there that I've listened to and continue to listen to. And so I'm always looking for great books that I can devour, and it's whether it's listened to them, hopefully they're on Audible, or occasionally I'll read them, or if there's a podcast. And so I'll turn it over to you to share kind of what is one of your favorite books or podcasts that you'd recommend to the audience.
Right. So I have both, right? The one book that I often read, right? And it's because I think like it's a Bible for any business, especially startups, right? The small business, which I call 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, right? I think that is one of the best book that you can learn. And it just doesn't tell you about the success story, but it tells you like how you fail when you fail and what you do, right? So I think that's one of the best books to read if you are a startup or a company who is just looking to grow up. Uh, the Again, like it's not very business focused, but I love Joe Rogan. I love his podcast, and sometimes the content is very good, sometimes it's a little bit on the offside, but I love the conversation. I love the I think like they teach more than most of the schools can teach, so I leave it at that.
Awesome. Well, I definitely think those are both are great recommendations. On the book side, that is one of the books that I have in my queue to listen to. I've bought it on Audible, and it's in my queue. I just haven't got to yet, so I'm definitely it'll have to move up in my priority list to make sure that I take a listen to that one. So perfect. Well, as we do now wrap up the fireside chat, and definitely appreciate you sharing everything. If people want to reach out to you, they want to kind of have a one-on-one question, they have a follow-up, they want to hire you, they want to do anything along those lines, or they just want to make a new best friend. But what's the best way to connect up with you to do, or to maybe to follow up on after the fireside chat?
Right. So the best way is to reach out to me on LinkedIn. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you'll understand I'm like too much active on LinkedIn. But being said that, I reply to the messages and I'll reach out. I'll love to help you out. And if not, we'll be the new best friends. Right. So
Awesome. We'll definitely encourage people to reach out, and I'll also maybe or extend the invitation, Samir, if you want to. Just in this in the fireside chat, just put in your contact information, your LinkedIn profile, or however you'd like people to connect with you. That makes it easy that they, or whether they're watching it live now or they listen to it after the fact, that they can connect up with you there. So we'll throw that in as a comment onto the chat, so that people can connect there. And so with that, thank you again for going, or for all those that have listened, for those that have joined the fireside chat, and always makes it fun to learn something new, and to be able to continue forward on and having additional things in our arsenal as a startup and small business. Now, we have a couple that may be coming up in the meantime, but the next scheduled one is on April 12th. And that one is going to be another one that I'm excited about, which is we're having David Brown. He's at the Technology Transfer Office for Brigham Young University, which is located here in Utah. And we're going to be talking about a lot about how you can leverage the university resources as a startup, which I think is sometimes overlooked, or you don't know how to go about even approaching the university or using their resources. One, they have a ton of resources. It can make it so it's less expensive as a startup to get going. You can have a lot of access to students, to smart or professors, to their equipment on campus. It can get you a long ways, and it's usually a lot less expensive and more cost effective. So I think that will be another great one. That one is scheduled for April 12th, so that's a Friday, and it'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 11 o'clock Mountain, which is 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific. So definitely encourage people to join that one as well, and to register. As a quick reminder to everybody, if you ever want to register, see which ones we have come up, just go to my LinkedIn profile, click on the events tab, and it'll show all of the upcoming fireside chats that are coming up for Inventive Fireside. So with that, Samir, thank you again for coming on, sharing some great expertise and great information. We'll wrap it up for there. Let everybody get back to the busy days, and have a good one in the meantime.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.